Good morning, guys. We got here in the end, thankfully. There's a little bit of a technical glitch with YouTube Studio, as always, but at least we're on, ready to go. So if you have your whiteboards, we need to be, I've got about 23 minutes to try blast through all of this. So I want to get us warmed up, brains ready to deal with the maths, and then I'll explain a bit about line graphs. It was an area that caused a bit of confusion last time we came to it, I think way back, maybe October-ish time. So hopefully today I can help you understand and clarify some of those areas where I think we found it difficult last time, okay? I've had a look at the worksheets. I think the worksheets are all more than manageable, so you should do fine. So if you have your whiteboards ready, let's get started today. 0 top left, okay? 0 top left. Hi, good morning. Who have we got? Ashlyn and Ryan. Good stuff. Last two in. Well done. So if you're ready, whiteboard's ready, 0 top left, and we're going to play sevens. So how high can you go in our sevens? Ready, set, and go. Stop. See how you done. Numbers should have been 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84. Okay. Just making sure. Well done, super. So it seems to be working for some and not so well for others. If you are struggling, you can always try log out of it and come back in and see how you get on, okay? Let's have a look anyway. 10 seconds back on our clock. See, can you beat your score? You ready? Set, go. And stop. Super, let's double check those numbers. Should have got 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84. Looks like it's maybe steadying out my end. Okay, good. Well, we're going to keep going anyway. So next warm-up one, I do apologize if the signal is breaking up, making it a little bit frustrating to watch, but you always have the option of going back and kind of watching it over again. Hopefully when it all gets processed through, it works better. So anyway, next warm-up one, we've done this before. We've got two levels here. We've got level 1, level 2. For this morning to time, all I want you to do, pick a number between 1 and 9 and run it through the generators on this one, okay, and then see what you get at the end. Try to do this mentally. Try not write anything down. Just try to do it all in your head. Start with a number, work it all out in your head, and then you can always write down your answer. So level 1, you're going to pick a number between 1 and 9, multiply it by 5, divide it by 2, and add 3 on at the end. All right. So pick a number between 1 and 9. Times it by 5, divide it by 2, add on 3, tell me what you got. And if you can throw it into the chat, put your starting number and then give me what you got in the end. You just split them with a comma, see how we do. I'll give you 5 seconds and then I'll give you one example of what it could have been. Okay. Well done if you got level 1 done. So level 1, for example, if I pick the number 6 for this one, 6 times 5 is 30, divided by 2 is 15, plus 3 makes 18. 18 would have been my answer. All right. Ready? On level 2 then, moving down to level 2. Level 2 this time, pick a number between 1 and 9 again. So we're just going between 1 and 9. First up, you're going to square it. So square the number. So remember what squaring is, you multiply it by itself. Once you get there, multiply it by, or minus 7, so subtract 7 from it. And the last step on level 2 then is I want you to round your number to the nearest 10. So you either have to round it up or round it down to the nearest 10. So start with a number between 1 and 9, square it, minus 7, round it to the nearest 10. Ready? Give you 10 seconds to see how you do. And super if you got there. Ready? Let's pick one nice and easy. We'll go with, say, 5 for an example. So if I have 5 and I square it, I've got 25. If I take away 7, I've got 18. If I have 18 and I round it to the nearest 10, 18, it's above the halfway, it rounds up the way, so it's going to round to 20. So 20 is my answer. Started with 5, ended up with 20. I'll do it with one more. If it was, say, 7 you took, 7 squared is 49. 49 minus 7 is 42. 42 round to the nearest 10. 42 goes down the way to 40. Round it to 40. All right. Right, guys, if you have that done and we've played how high can you go and how low can you go, hopefully we're ready for the line graphs today. So I put up on Google Classroom, there's 3 to do today. And I would stick to just a 3 because these 3 worksheets are about reading the graphs. The other 2 line graph worksheets are about designing the graphs. So they're a slightly different skill. So you're better to spread them out over the 2 days. So the 3 worksheets you should do today: car sales, the hippopotamus one, and the air temperature. Those are your 3 worksheets I want you to try today. So let's have a look at line graphs. Let's go. We're going to start with the basics again. I'm going to go through 2 very quick examples. All right, I'm down to about 13 minutes, so I'm going to go through 2 quick examples of types of questions you're going to be asked and sort of how you're going to get them done. All right. The first one I want to do, though, if I throw my notes down there, kind of make sure I get all the important stuff done. All right. When it comes to line graphs, or any graph for that fact, and this bit will help with tomorrow as well. If you have your two axes, so your axes are where the data will be explained to you. All right. You also have a title to a graph, so every graph should have a title. The reason I say that is really important because sometimes you'll get a really simple question like, what is this data, or what does this graph explain? And you just look to the title and it tells you. You'll be surprised at how many times some people forget about how easy that is. So if we have a look, we've got our axes and they're in 2 different ones, and we must remember which ones they are. The one that goes across, it's level with the horizon. This one is your x-axis, okay? And the one that goes vertically up and down, this is your y-axis, okay? And you remember the old saying, y's up. So if you y's up, you know that y is up, okay? So once we've got that kind of covered, we're ready to get going. So I'm going to give you an example of a line graph. It's not going to be very precise, but it will have enough that I can explain a little bit. So my first one is just going to be temperature. So here we've got our temperature. So this line graph will show temperature. All right. Now over here we've got, say, what can we do? Make this nice and big so you can see it. There we go. All right, so we've got 6, 9, 12, 3, and 6. Down here we have time. Okay. So we've got our time is going to be put along the bottom, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6. All right, and they'll all be equally spaced out. On our y-axis, it's going to be going up here. This is going to be this is temperature, and it will also tell you that it's in degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is telling us that this information, these numbers, are going to be about the temperature of the day. So if you have a look, the temperature is 5, 10, 15, and 20, and it's all in degrees. Okay, so that's what this graph is telling us so far. Now, there's one little bit of math language I need to do, and that's the word intervals. Intervals, okay? The word intervals. The intervals are these sections, okay? And this was filled some off you the last time, was about reading how much in between what you're given. So, for example, here is going to be 0. If it's in between 5 and 10, how big is that gap? 5 degrees difference, okay? So every chunk is 5 degrees. And then within the chunks, you should be able to see 5 smaller jumps. Those smaller jumps must be 1 degrees each. So that'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you don't have the numbers, but you know they're there. Okay, and they would be on any graph, but they may just not have the numbers put on to help you. Okay, so these are the intervals, and this one coming across the way, just for handiness sake, I'm going to do that. So if you have between 6 and 9 o'clock, how many hours? There's 3. If you have a look, there's 3 jumps. So that's the sort of question that we can get on this air temperature. All right. Next up, I need some data. So and you should be able to use a ruler to see this. Okay, so now I've got my line graph. Now I can get some questions. So the type of questions that we're going to get is, what temperature was it at such a time? So what temperature was it at 9 o'clock? To answer that type of question, if it's at 9 o'clock, you have to figure out what axis you're being given. And usually the way line graphs work is the question will point you to one of the axes, and then you have to measure either your answer will be on the opposite. You'll see what I mean. So for example, my question is, what time was it at 9 o'clock? So the question is telling us this axis at 9 o'clock. So you find 9 o'clock, and then you start to measure up until you get to the time. You use a ruler, okay? Measure up the way. We hit our time, and then we come across the way. And our answer is going to be on the other axis. So the question told us this axis, our answer was on the opposite. So for this one, my question, what temperature is it at 9 o'clock? It's 16 degrees. Must be sunny. Okay. Try another one. What time was it at 4 p.m.? So at 4 p.m. And this one's slightly more difficult, because this one, if you have a look, we know that 4 o'clock comes after 3. 3 was the one given to us. So remember I said about 3 small jumps? One of those jumps must be 4. So there's 4 o'clock. So again, this one, you just measure all the way up. Hopefully that's looking straight. You find where it goes, and you bring it across the way. Okay? And then you have your answer on this one. And this answer would be 19 degrees. All right, so those are the sort of questions you get. What temperature is it? The other type of questions you could get is, at what time did the temperature first reach? So first reach. If you're asked for like a first time something occurred, you find it. So if my question is, what time of the day did the temperature first reach 10 degrees? this time I've been told about 10 degrees. This time I want to come this way. I find the first time that the line comes above that mark, and then I go down the way. And my answer, so for what time did it first go at 10 degrees? My answer for this one would be 6 a.m. Done. All right. Now, the last one you can kind of get is would be something to make you, this would be a higher level. All right. It challenges you just a little bit. So say I said, what time was it at 12:30 p.m.? So at 12:30. Now we know this one is 12 o'clock. We know this one is 1 o'clock. So where would 12:30 be? Excellent. Just in between, halfway. All right, there we are, 12:30. So we're just applying extra knowledge, and that's why those questions are a bit more difficult. And again, if it was 12:30, you would work your way up and then work your way across. All right. And then there's other questions that you can get at what time of the day did the temperature stay stable? So the word stable means it's the same. So you would try and look at your line graph and say, oh, look, there, that line's quite flat. The temperature's become stable. It's no longer increasing or decreasing. At what time of the day did the temperature begin to cool? So if temperature cools, it must come back down the way. So have a look. Our line's going up, 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 and then it comes down at the end. So where it begins to come down, you would measure down and find your time. That's the type of question there. Ready? I've got about 2 minutes left. I want to do one more really quick one. Find a cloth. It's in my pocket. Magic. Ready? So got my x-axis, my y-axis. This time, our graph, we're going to do car sales. So we've got car sales in here. We've got all of our months. Okay, so these are our months. And then up here, you've got our sales. And in the bracket, it says thousands. So this is actually not just one car sold, but actually 1,000 cars sold, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, so on. All right. So for this one, these type of questions that we want to get. Okay. So you could have some sort of graph like this. Again, questions you could get, in what month was most cars sold? So for this kind of question, most cars sold, you would look and see where it hits its highest number of sales. You read across and then you read down, and it could be March. All right. Other questions you're going to get is biggest increase. This is looking for the biggest vertical shift in the line. Okay. And if you have a look here, you can see that it's gone up in the smallest space of time. So actually from, if this was February and this was March and January is my first month, you can see that between January and March, it shot completely all the way up. It's the highest jump there was. Okay. So for something like that, if you ask for the biggest gain or the biggest increase, it's the sharpest rise in the line. Other questions you can get is most sales, least sales. Least sales would be the lowest amount. How many sales altogether? And in that case, you would add up each of the months. What were the most popular months? Again, numbers with months with the highest. All right. So those are the type of questions you're going to get when it comes to lines. So remember, that integer one is the key bit. Always think, what's the difference? How many little marks is there in between? What must each of those be? Okay. So imagine that was, so like the other one where it was 5 degrees. All right. So guys, unfortunately I need to shoot on, but really well done. I will be in Google Classroom if you need me. All right. Really well done. I say thank you for coming in, and I'll chat later. All righty.